All right, so persons on the live, we do apologize. If you're just joining us, we were talking about the amount of violent crimes happening here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including the stabbing that occurred yesterday at outside of Clare Harbor in Kingstown. So briefly, a story is on Asbot News Network that the headline is "Woman Stabbed in Broad Daylight in Kingstown," and it describes the attack as a man hopping out of a vehicle, stabbing the unsuspecting woman who was on her way to work, and he fled the scene and she was rushed to the Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital. And authorities are appealing to persons with information to come forward regarding the attack. However, there are conflicting stories to what Asbot reported. Persons are alleging that the person who stabbed her was her baby father. He parked outside, and this is according to eyewitness. He parked outside the office of Clare Harbor, and the camera footage of Clare Harbor shows that the victim was walking with a young man believed towards work when the alleged baby father and the young man got into an argument. Now, he did pull up in a vehicle according to the camera footage. The young man, during the argument, him and the young man got into a little scuffle where he attempted to stab the young man. The young man ran away towards Bottom Town and he ran upwards towards, what's that blue building called again?
Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health, in the Ministry of Health direction. So during the altercation, the young man threw a stone at him, but it was not before he had stabbed the young lady in her hand, and persons are saying that the knife went directly through her hand, and he then fled from the vehicle that he pulled up in, and this is according to the camera footage from Clare Harbor. So it's different from what Asbot reported, but the main problem is a man walked up to a woman's job in the middle of the day and stabbed her.
Story sounds very similar to what transpired some time ago. Same, I think it was the same location. Call
Outside Clare
somebody,
Harbor?
call somebody. Two females, either past lovers or present lovers at the time of the incident.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Remember
yes,
that?
yes.
Yeah, this is really crazy because clearly, if you can pull up um with a weapon in your hand, then clearly you have intent, and obviously people will have seen you. So I feel like by now somebody should be arrested, and then we're gonna see a charge at some point. But what is it? What is it could drive an individual to the point where you don't even care about what happens to you, or you don't care about the consequences of your actions? What could fly up in your head so to want to go and stab up somebody?
Listen, the thing is, right? I think we should dissect it into sections because the image put forward is the main issue that we're having here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is violence by gun. And that has been the driving force, or at least one of the main reasons why the police are trying to implement this tint regulation. But we see broad daylight. He arrived by vehicle, but he came out of the vehicle and did this. And then we're going to talk about a number of stories where persons are on foot, or it's happening in person. That persons are going and committing these crimes. So yes, while guns are the problem, I do not think tints on vehicle
How we
are the
reach back to
problem
things?
because they are. I don't know if you follow the news. They are implementing the tinting and the driving forces these crimes. They're trying to say that the tint should be removed from the vehicle because of the crimes committed. But we have a number of stories that we're going to discuss. The issue is not the tint, Christal. I'm just saying we have to layer it down. We have to talk about the different things leading up to that. The first thing is persons pretend that the only violence or the main problem we have here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are crimes committed by guns. But we are seeing that there are more crimes committed recently, at least, by using sharp objects, bottles, whatever. Then we have the tinting issue where the police believe that a lot of these crimes are committed because of heavily tinted vehicles. But we are seeing that people happen to be coming forward and doing these things on foot in post walking up to people and stabbing people. So what is the solution? Because gun amnesty is there for its specific purpose. The tinting is there for the tint regulation will be there for its specific purpose. So what would be the solution coming forward for these stabbing and chopping and bottle incidents? That's the point that I'm trying to make.
People need to cool out.
Right? It could be unresolved trauma. It could be people not knowing how to deal with conflict resolution. It could be a number of things as to why these things are happening. Good morning, Carla.
Yeah, good morning. I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you're speaking about criminal activities in this country. That's my big, as a Vincentian, concerned citizen. I have been speaking about this without any fear or favor. Till some people don't like to hear when I speak about the criminal activities, and that's why I'm so happy that you're speaking about this in this country. Will it ever stop? No, it will never stop. But it's how we deal with these matters, how we deal with these issues. And when the country gets a bad image now, what do we say? I mean, there are so many things that have gone wrong in this country. Breakdown of law and order. Breakdown of discipline. Some of us come up in homes that are not homes as such. And we need to look at the fundamental reasons or issues that are responsible for all these criminal activities. It's my biggest concern. I don't have to bother. I don't have to care. I am like as the old people, I'm like a fowl these days. I am indoors. I'm afraid the night now. I'm afraid of the night in St. Vincent and Grenadines. But you have those, they say night longer than day. That's a common thing. And you know why night longer than day? Because the amount of negatives or bad things or evil things you can commit by night, you can't commit it by day because somebody might see something and talk. Even though we had a lawyer that was killed here at high noon. Nobody see, nobody talk. So why should I get mixed up in all of this? Let me do what I have to do, say what I have to say, because I am me, and I have to know what is right from what is wrong. I will not always be right, and I will not always be wrong, but let me strive to be a decent citizen as of intention. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your contribution.
All right. So I do think that there are a number of factors that contribute to it, but then there should be a level of fear. There should be something to deter persons from wanting to commit acts like this in the middle of the day. He didn't care about cameras. He didn't care about anything. He just cared that he wanted to make a point and he wanted to injure some people.
That sounds like either real ignorance, real wickedness, or a lot of pent up frustration.
It could be all of the above. And persons are saying that the knife was a big knife that he pulled and attempted to stab the lady with force, the young lady with force, and then he got through to stab her. And she got a serious stab. Right now she's in the hospital recovering, but it was a very serious stab that she received. Now we have another issue that occurred, I believe, on Saturday. And according to One News St. Vincent, a man was almost chopped to death over cabbages in Richland Park. And it reads, a man is currently at the hospital nursing multiple chop wounds after an altercation with another man. Police have confirmed that the incident took place in Richland Park on May 25th. The victim has been named as Andre Games of Mesopotamia. He was chopped by a man from Richland Park whose name we have withheld pending a formal police report. Sources say the incident stems from a misunderstanding over some agricultural produce, particularly some cabbages. The misunderstanding reached a point where the accused took a sharp cutlass and inflicted chop wounds to the victim. The victim tried to retaliate by firing stones at the accused, but he was overpowered. Sounding familiar already, right? Witnesses say a former medical practitioner was called to the scene to help stop the bleeding. The chopped victim was then rushed to the hospital. Police are investigating the matter, and One News would bring more details when they can. Listen, I saw these pictures. These were some deep chops to the guy's leg. And Christal, these are images that'll make you sick to your stomach. And once again, casually on a Friday over cabbages.
Nah, it's over something else.
The thing is, it could possibly be over
Over but
cabbages.
there is something pre-existing. Okay, so what could possibly happen with people, right? The straw that breaks the camel's back might be something to the average individual that ain't making no sense. A pencil, cabbage, dumpling, y'all serious? But like underlying, there are things that people are experiencing that they're not talking about. It could be daily struggles, financial issues, relationship woes, that that they're not talking to other folks about. It could be mental health issues that they don't even realize they're experiencing, all sorts of things. But it just takes that whole one little and the entire volcano just blows off. That's what happens to some folks. For some people, it's premeditated.
Yeah, we have a comment here
Up for you.
regarding the first issue. The next guy could have been her brother, uncle, cousin. You don't get up and do that to a person not knowing the circumstances. Jealousy can make people do stupid things. They act first, then ask questions after.
Go ahead.
Next one, reference to crime. There is no relationship between crime and tinted windows, period. The issue is society related. There are no laws against carrying a knife or any object regarded as a dangerous weapon, and no police action charging a person carrying a cutlass in public or having a knife found on their person. I think the tricky part of that is some people are using these things for work. So is it that we're going to start issuing license for regular knives, household appliances? But then the cutlasses make more sense to me.
But quite a number of farmers, you're actually supposed to wrap it up when you're moving.
Yeah, but we don't see that up to the day before. Today's Wednesday, up to Monday. I saw a guy walking through Kittles with a cutlass over his shoulder, regular. But he was clearly farming. There's dirt and stuff on the cutlass.
But I feel like Kittles is so. I don't know. For me, like there are some places in the country where, for me, it's socially acceptable, and others it's not. Like Kittles is like just literally feels like so community and close knit.
I don't live bottom Kittles, I live top Kittles.
So you like main road.
Yes. This was close. That's the problem. This was close to the main road. So someone is saying now we do have a problem with crime, but do we as a people tend to overhype it? We often hear persons say, "I afraid Vinci, I feel safer living in North America." Is that really so, or is it just things that people say just because? And that is why I asked the other day if someone feels like they're an alarmist, because the image that's painted is that St. Vincent is such a dangerous place to live that you should not be outside or things could happen. It reminds me of this statement when we had the conversation about the LGBTQ, when Badu made the post that was saying St. Vincent is no longer safe for persons of the LGBTQ community, and it suggests that once you are part of the community, if you're seen in St. Vincent, you will be attacked. But that is not the case. So sometimes we see some of these posts on social media, and that's not the case. But we cannot ignore the fact that we do have a problem with crime. Every country has a problem with crime. And we are one of those countries. But persons should never feel safe enough to settle an argument, whether it's pre-existing or what. It started over produce. And listen, there's a lot of incidents that happen because of farming, I know of incidences where people ended up pulling firearms, pulling guns over farming disputes, simple farming disputes. And then we don't know what was the relationship between the guy and the girl, but it was enough for him to feel the need to come to her, what I believe is her workplace, because we don't know if she's a Clear Harbor employee. What I believe,
but obviously it's a place he knows that she moves. So.
Yes, and he gets there and does something like that in the middle of the day. He doesn't think about consequences, nothing in the middle of the day in Kingstown.
It'll be interesting to figure out what, well, the status of their relationship. But that's just so crazy. You're just walking on the road and somebody comes and attacks you. And it's not a random attack, it's a targeted attack. And I'm wondering if there were things going on between them that she knew, okay, I am at risk for XYZ, or if she took certain things that he might have said or his actions for granted. So she never took a step forward to do certain things, maybe report a threat that to her may not have seemed like a threat, but it actually was a threat on her life. Did he say something to her? Has he ever hit her before? I mean, little things that might come across as, this is quote unquote socially acceptable, but actually like major red flags. Was anything happening between them that could have stood out to her to make her feel threatened, or she just took certain things for granted, or she never saw it coming?
That's something to think about as we go on commercial break. But we will definitely talk more about some of these issues that we've been seeing popping up recently.
Sparrows, rum of pure sophistication. Sparrows, rum, aged to perfection. Skillfully crafted and forged with time in oak barrels. A rum so divine. Discover authentic Caribbean rum. Sparrows, premium rum. Sparrows, full-bodied rum. Sparrows, pure sophistication. Discover authentic Vincentian rum. Sparrows, premium rum.
Distilled and blended by St. Vincent Distillers Limited. Please drink responsibly.
Agents, Careers, Distributions Limited.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom? Whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seat. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat, or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean, be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
First National Bank says get the home you've always wanted with zero down. That's right, as we celebrate more than 85 years of being here for you as the first Indigenous bank, we're giving 85 individuals 100% financing to achieve their dream of home ownership. This is possibly the most important decision you'll ever make. 100% financing for your dream home. Call or come into First National Bank today and ask about our zero down payment 100% financing for mortgages. First National Bank, here for you.
The Graduates Calypso 10 presents Triple Calypso Galore in 2024, aka Triple Tuesday. Tuesday, May 28th, off we go. Tuesday, June 4th, we give you more. On Tuesday, June 11th, preliminaries judging show. All at the Russell's Auditorium. Starting time, 8:30 p.m. Backing band is Blazing Fire with brass. Admission $20. It's the Graduates with Calypso Galore. It's Triple Tuesday of captivating Kaiso and more.
Beckway, get ready! Ports is back again this Thursday, May 30, under the almond tree, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with bigger and crazier deals. No cash, no worries. Choose Ready Finance. Buy now and pay later. Get in on our doorbuster deal with specials on mattresses, rugs, appliances, and so much more. So Beckway, this Thursday, all day. Ports is back under the almond tree. So come grab a big deal. Ports. bringing value. Home.
WEFM, a new fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 8:30. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Ari and Christal. We are Activated Mornings here on 99.9 The Clean First Zone. Once again, if you're just joining us, we are discussing the number of violent crimes that we've been seeing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It could be stabbing, chopping, pelting of bottles, but there are a number of crimes here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're trying to figure out what is the solution to these problems that we're seeing, because persons need a deterrent so we don't keep seeing these things here generally, especially now as we're gearing up for ICC, Vinci Mass, everything. We need a solution. Now we have a comment here, someone saying, I was stopped by the police who was looking at my fishing kit. He wanted to know why the filler knives were not in the protective case. I just got a warning, no charges. I don't know, like fishing kits. I mean, you're walking with a fishing kit.
You need a knife to cut down the fish in the middle and take out the guts and walk the fish and carry home fried.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because if you're walking with a fishing kit, you expect a knife to be in there. Yeah. But then somebody could still use that as a guise to go and do what they're doing, or they could get into an altercation and you know the knife is there, so you take the knife. And it's a very tricky situations.
A pen, a key, any sharp object. It is it's very difficult to maneuver around that.
Yeah.
All while we're talking about this particular issue here, what's coming to my mind is I'm remembering this short film that I saw, made brief mention of it on Monday, that I saw on Saturday nights at the Hirona Film Festival. Javid D'Souza was the creator and director of that film. The name of the film was In the Name of Love. Basically, there was this gentleman who was madly in love, obsessively in love with this young woman, and he had a quote unquote best friend. And his best friend was, hyping him up to go and talk to the young lady. And he was too shy to go, so he asked his best friend to talk to her. Lo and behold, the young lady was fond of the best friend instead of the gentleman. And so they started to become a bit romantically involved. The gentleman got upset, started drinking alcohol and what's not. He eventually killed the best friend and kidnapped and held the woman hostage because he was truly, madly, deeply in love with her. Sometimes in these cases, there are some people who are so mentally ill, they don't even realize that there is something wrong with them. And it's not a case where, there is a fear factor. So there's no fear involved. There's no ability for them to rationalize, even when they are calm, to rationalize, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't take up this knife and go and stab this person. If I can't get her, whatever, I don't care. There's none of that. They don't rationalize, they don't think, because their minds, the way their brains are wired, they just don't have that ability. So sometimes in some of these cases, the only thing you could do is probably put these people under some treatment or something, or therapy, because they're just not able to think properly.
I think it might have to start in schools. You need to, not just conflict resolution, you need counseling as it relates to how to deal with situations in relationships, even if you're not in a relationship. And there need to be more programs. There need to be more, especially youth-based. We need to have more of this knowledge being sent around, because we have another issue here. Well, on Eyewitness News, woman pelt boyfriend with bottles after he kisses another woman at funeral. But the story reads, a woman who pelted bottles at her boyfriend after seeing him kissing another woman at funeral was bonded after the bottles broke, causing injury to another woman. Chantal Jackson, 31, cried as mitigated on her behalf and as her sentence was being formulated at the Georgia Magistrates Court on Thursday. She asked Magistrate Kiwana Jacobs to have mercy on top of me. Have mercy on top of me. Noting that she has 4 children aged 15, 13, 12, and 7. Jackson was given tissue to wipe her tears, and the magistrate stood the matter down to allow her to compose herself. You know, that's very interesting.
Go on.
You have 4 children and you didn't think. The same thing we're talking about. You didn't think before you act. And all of a sudden, after you committed the act, oh, please don't punish me because I have 4 children. You should have thought about that. Should have been the deterrent. You should have been, boy, he lucky I had children and a boy. That should have been the thought process.
Have you ever been so upset like you just forget everything?
I don't have children.
That's not.
I would like to believe
asked
it's
you.
hard to forget your children.
That is not what I asked you. I asked you, have you ever been so upset that you forget everything?
I don't think so, because then that would have pushed me to kill somebody.
Let's continue this story.
The unemployed defendant, and she unemployed, pleaded guilty to a charge that on May 18th at Chile Junction, she unlawfully and maliciously wounded Joanne Richards of Caliacua. The facts presented by Corporal of Police Delando Charles are that on May 18th, about 5:10 p.m., Richards was at Chile sitting on a bench near the cemetery. Jackson and her boyfriend had an altercation which led to Jackson pelting drink bottles at her boyfriend. One of the bottles fell on the ground, broke, and cut Richards on the foot, resulting in her receiving medical attention at the Modern Medical and Diagnostic Center. In mitigation, Jackson told the court that she and her boyfriend were at a funeral in Georgetown. I told him I wasn't feeling well and rain coming. I saw him kissing another woman mouth to mouth, and I called him, and when he came, he just laughed, she told the court. I pelted a bottle after him, and the splinters from the ground cut the lady, Jackson further said. In handing down the sentence, magistrate pointed out that the offense carries a maximum sentence of 7 years imprisonment. She arrived at a 1-year prison sentence, but deviated from the sentencing guidelines and bonded the defendant for 6 months in a sum of EC $600 or 6 months in prison. Jacobs also ordered Jackson to pay EC $250 compensation in 2 months or 2 months imprisonment. I don't want more.
What's the possibility that there was some intoxication involved? Could be. Could very well not be. No acts of violence is right. At all against men, against women, especially against children. You see, this is what's happening when you get involved with the wrong set of men.
Now stop right there. So Ashisia Salmon, you know, Ashisia is a journalist. She said, she commented on the post. She said, if I wasn't there, I would have been on her side and I would have said, this is a classic case of men will embarrass you. But truth be told, this woman embarrassed herself. So someone asked, was it that bad? She said it was. I was ashamed to be a woman on that day. It was my second month's funeral, by the way. Someone said that, you know what is apparent here? I see most females under the story that are sympathetic and empathetic of this lady, but I wait to see the reactions when it is a man who finds himself in an emotional situation and acts out. And she said, you're on point. They would not have been the same if it was the other way around. So the picture that's being painted is this woman really completely lost her marbles and did not care who, where, what, how. She just wanted to pelt something and she did it and it injured somebody else.
If you find that there are certain people that get you in a kind of space, leave them alone. Unless, of course, you are the problem and everybody just gets you in that space. But if certain people get you so riled up that you commit crimes or think of committing crimes, leave them alone. And go fix yourself.
The question is, how do we solve these problems?
People have to solve their own personal problem too, you know. But you see, the problem is, are folks self-aware enough to, like, boy, This ain't right. I shouldn't be this riled up. I shouldn't be thinking of doing this, yada yada yada. Let me go get some help. But people like, how many folks are in actually that space or that level of their maturity to consider, okay, this is the right time for me to go and get some assistance because I have a problem.
But it goes back to what I was saying before. How often is it spoken about in schools outside of like, I don't expect regular teachers to be discussing it in their classes, but HFL is, I would like to believe, mandatory from forms 1 to 3, I think. And then there's like social studies and these types of subjects. And then there's a school counselor. Can we put aside at least 10 minutes to talk about conflict resolution? Because look, we even saw the student stabbing the other student in the neck in St. Martin a few months ago. And we continue to see students and incidents happening at Bagger Secondary School. So it starts there.
Mm-hmm.
And then people think, and you hear it every day. Person getting an argument, and the immediate thing they go to is for it to become a violent altercation. Boy, I just feel like stab you, boy. I feel like pelt a bottle after. I feel like do this, I feel like do that. And some people don't just feel it do.
Mm-hmm.
So I at least think we should start from secondary school level, conflict resolutions, and move from there. Even at workplaces. Maybe like a 10 minutes out every month to talk about conflict resolution for laborers, for persons in the private public sector, media houses, even persons within the legal realm should be talking about conflict resolution. Remember, when was it? A few years ago that the assistant DPP found himself in charge with a charge for shooting somebody. Even I think it all boils down to and I think it was found not guilty, but it all boils down to conflict resolution. And it starts from when your mind is still developing to even as it's developed as an adult. Or at least in my opinion.
Now, schools form an important pillar in our development, right? And because we as children, spend so much time in schools, from some of us 6 months, daycare, preschool, primary, secondary. A call coming through. You want to take that? You can go ahead. I'll stick a pin here.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
All right, caller, you live.
Morning, Ari and Christal.
Good morning.
I'm listening to your program from New York. It's quite educational. But what you guys are talking about is it's a very, very hard situation. Trust me on that. Because even though the teachers teach the kids in the classroom, the parents at home, that's where it started. I know parents that tell their children, go in school and fight. Don't take knowledge from nobody.
That is true.
What can the teacher do then?
That is true. Or if the teacher tells you something, come straight back to me.
Right. Then the way how these parents talk to their kids with the biggest indecent language. So if the parents is teaching these kids that, what would the kids tell you on the outside? In our time growing up, I grew up with my grandparents, so I'm well disciplined. What big people have, children have nothing to do in it. But today, children are talking to elderly people like if they are the same age. So these things, they started from home. Another thing is that mother and father drink rum, smoke weed, and they make babies. So the babies are infected from both.
All right. Hello?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Thank you so much for your input there.
Thanks.
All right. So once again, the number to call is 457-9997. Also the number to WhatsApp, 457-9997. We saw quite a few calls coming in while that caller was speaking, so feel free to call back.
All right, so I'll continue. So I was getting to the point that he alluded to there, that he mentioned. Well, it is the schools.
Okay.
Let the calls come through, man.
All right, caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Very interesting conversation this morning. And I have to agree with the gentleman that called a minute ago. We have severe problems in the homes. The teachers are expected to control children in the classroom. But what are the children doing prior to getting to school? They're on their cell phones in some cases. They're listening to music that encourages you to go and lick down somebody if you can. They're encouraging violence. The home is, as we have noted, is sometimes violent. There is endless frustrations on all sides. So we have to, as you had mentioned before earlier, get to kind of, if possible, the root of the problem. A lot of the frustrations is because people have high expectations and want things immediately. There are a lot of outside influences that are on top of the parents, on top of the children, and it all reflected down the line. My biggest statement here is about how our teachers, yes, it's difficult, but how are teachers able to handle some of the problems when the child enters the school? He's belligerent. He doesn't want to listen to what you're saying. He knows best. He wants to tackle another child in the group. Are teachers adequately trained here to enable a teacher to notice this behavior and be able to deal with it in the best way possible? We had the other day an instance of two teachers having a basa-basa or a fight or whatever it is. What kind of message are you sending to the children? It's all about me. Me. And this is where social media has come into play and is basically destroying, I'm sorry to say, the fabric of the society. We rely on social media to tell us everything. We have to know it now. And we have to do what so-and-so says on X, Y, or Z. And this is a destructive thing. And basically, we need to be able to try and control this, but it's very difficult. There are so many outlets out there that are interfering with a child's development, with family development. We have a lot of matriarchal families who are raising a number of children and really struggling. But then why did they have so many children? Well, they had a boyfriend and he, like the lady with the bottle. So, my God, this man, he was my man and look what he's doing now. Instead of being able to walk away and say, look, he now worth tuppence. We have to try and address these problems from day one. Very difficult. But do we have any psychiatrists or psychotherapists? I see no course available. Every time there's a course from XYZ university or whatever, nothing to do with special education and nothing to do with psychotherapy or anything of that caliber. So we need now to look and say we need these individuals in training teachers and also available in communities to say this is behavior we cannot tolerate and the reason it's happening is because blah, 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 blah. So I just want to put that out and thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for your contribution this morning.
All right. So
we're going to take a quick commercial break, Christal, and we get back to your point this morning.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Boy, that's where you getting crushed, you know? Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
Lanes is your Vincentian family store. We give you quality service and you save more. We add value to your household, that's for sure. At Lanes, our customers always come first. For your family needs, come on in. Construction, household, and clothing. Our friendly staff is ready to help. Get more and save more. Remember, at Lanes, our customers come first. We thank you for making Lanes your family store for value. Lanes, your family store for value.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of.
Well, focus. Join the vibes for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in the Party Stand. Enjoy live performances by top artists, the hottest DJs, and so much more. Get your tickets today from Korea City Store, Kingstown. ICC Men's T20 World Cup, the vibes in the Party Stand. It's gonna be out of this world. Get your tickets now.
Get ready for the ultimate musical event of the summer, Soca and Jazz, at Logwood Sports Bar, Bookament, starting at 8 p.m. Mark your calendars for this Saturday, June 1st, 2024. Groove to the smooth, soulful music of jazz with the Jazz Tropical Project. Bringing the Soca heat are Fire Empress, Bomani, and the band Kinetic. Dance the night away with musical entertainment by DJ Ligaments and DJ Macca. Admission is only $75 for an unforgettable night of live band music at Logwood. Tickets are available from any member of the Jazz Tropical Project, Kinetic, and Logwood Sports Bar. Gather your friends, put on your dancing shoes, and head down to Bookament for Soca and Jazz this Saturday, June 1st. This event is brought to you by Kinetic and Logwood Sports Bar. Follow at Logwood SVG for more details.
Tickets for Soca and Jazz are available at Kinetic Band members, Jazz Tropical Project Band members, Logwood Sports Bar Bookament, LJ Lotto Booth in Barrowley, Runner Christal at 433-4200, Desire Sports Bar in Cottels, and Cooper McDowell in Mayu.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 8:53, and with about 7 minutes left in this segment.
All right, so 5 minutes to say what I have to say. Right. So while the school plays a really important role in educating, and there is a social element to it too, it may not be the fault of the schools why some children behave in deviant manners, but that's part of their responsibility. However, we shouldn't just based on the fact that they spend so much time with the children, right? But we should not burden our teachers and give them so much responsibility. Like, this is part of the foundation of our society, the children, how they behave, the do's and don'ts within society, how they act, how they treat others, and what's not. Should we burden teachers with the responsibility that should be handed to and be entrusted to the parents, right? Now, I was going to make my way to parenting even before you get to the schools. Parents, parenting, family. Very, very important role. There is a song by Ipa that speaks about the family and how societies break down if families break down. Now, what happens within a society could affect how men and women are able to parent their children. And the inverse is also correct. What happens in the home affects what happens in society. So what are our parents doing? There are some adults, adult male and female, who become parents before they are emotionally and financially ready. Sometimes it's just a one-night thing, and then bap, you get a child, 2 children, 3, sometimes triplets, you know how it is. And then because you are not in that space where you are able to selflessly give your time, energy, effort, and your knowledge, there are some children who are raising children. What happens in that case? Then we're now at an era where everything is about self. We don't really want to put in the time and the effort that is required to raise a child that does not grow up as a deviant, right? Where we are able to properly develop that child's ego as well, because sometimes that could lead to deviant behaviors that could lead to the child experiencing terrible relationships in the future and what's not. You find that some folks are just gearing towards, okay, I'll just prefer situationships. I just want to go out and have some drinks and have a really nice time. A child is produced. You're not able to take care of that child properly and maintain that child or maintain yourself furthermore. Then because you're not able to do that, the child does not have the best circumstance, the best environment. And then some parents leave the community to raise the child. They leave society to raise the child. And because society is almost anything goes, that child will obviously go towards what he or she might see. Okay, no, this person showing me love. They get involved in crime. They get involved in, they are taught how to disrespect women, to disrespect themselves, to disrespect the environment and all these things because parents, parenting, the family, the home has broken down.
Yeah, but I would more argue that it is a shared responsibility, since parents, I think up to a certain age, they only spend a certain amount of hours per day with their children as opposed to teachers. Now, it is parents, it is your responsibility to, as Christal say, teach your children right, wrong, up, down, left, right, everything. But teaching, at least in my opinion, goes way beyond subject areas. And teachers would tell you sometimes they have to call home, they have to keep following up on children. Some of them take children home. It's very layered, I would say. Teaching and their roles and responsibilities very, very layered. We have one caller. If you okay, so good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters.
Morning.
No, I'm listening to the program and I'm getting the impression that our children, school children, but we have to really differentiate between. Sometimes in a class you only have one or two children that might misbehave and do this thing, so we can't paint a picture with all the children in the school. I think that's one point that you're missing this, because over the years, going to school, there are a lot of good children, And the classroom, you might in one or two.
Yeah, Carl, I think that you're misunderstanding what we're saying is, we're saying when it comes to conflict resolution and all these things, the information should start in the school, not that you're singling out children. You're saying at least educate them from secondary school, come up straight to the workplace. Because we had mentioned even in the workplace, you should be talking about conflict resolution and how to properly deal with situations. And Christal went on to say that not just in the school, parents do play a vital role.
That's the impression I was getting, that they are painting a birthday for
okay.
Most of the children.
Well, it's a good thing that you pointed it out, so we could because there might be other persons that probably got that impression as well. So thank you very much for pointing that out.
All right, my brother. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Let me just say really quickly before we take Kojo, right? The parents, I think the parents are supposed to set the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are supposed to build upon that foundation. But you have some teachers who have to build and set and build the foundation.
Agreed.
That's a lot of pressure on a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, like, as I said earlier, it may not be the fault of the school, but they have a responsibility and a role to play. But for them to have to set to teach and then build upon a foundation that basically controls society or affects society, whether negatively or positively, that's a lot of weight on a teacher's shoulder.
All right.
Coach, you have a minute. Sorry. you got a minute and a half. A minute.
A minute and a half. Mm-hmm. I've been calling for so long, and just a minute and a half. Okay.
Sorry.
Ari.
Yes.
You're quite right. Way back, you'll be talking about training. With my work, because I work in a prison system,
mm-hmm.
and we have to go through sexual harassment training. We have to go through all kind of training. You know what I mean? So it's very important that kids learn how to deal with the problems. There was a lady before may say that they need this kind of therapy and this kind of therapy. In America, they had the same thing, and the crime is just out of order. You know what I mean? So I do things work. They might work for some people, but they might not work for everybody. You know, but I think it has to do with the parent himself, the parenting. Because I grew up where if my mother and another woman have a problem and they cuss out, you know, what we call cuss out. And I walk past that woman the next day and he say good morning to her. You know, she whooping my ass.
Rightfully so.
Excuse my language.
Back in those days.
Well, everybody using it now, so.
and my mother will watch. She whoop me and I say nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Keep out adult things.
Exactly.
You can't tell a child nothing because the parent coming out and defending the child and don't really respect the other elder. You know what I mean? We need to start respecting our elder.
You know, Kojo, you know, that actually goes both ways because what I have actually personally observed is that's way. Let me tell you what it is that I observe. What I observe is that the complete opposite of what you said. Two adults have a disagreement. They then see the child of the person that they had the disagreement with, and they are the ones who pass in the child straight.
And as I'm saying,
yeah.
I agree with you too.
Yeah.
Because the level of understanding that of disrespect, the level of disrespect, it's gone beyond. I don't know who control the respect of people, because nobody seems to respect nobody. And that's our biggest problem right now, because everybody think that they're right, and if you say you're wrong, we fight it. And we cannot live like that.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right, Kojo. Unfortunately, though, we have to stop the call here. We'll continue the discussion at 9:20.
We continue next time.
All right. Thank you very much. So, caller, we see your call, but we have to end the segment here and make way for the bank rates. So we will continue discussion. What we want to talk about, talk to me at 9:20 is social media addictive? And it is coming from what that caller had just called in and said that, well, we'll get into it at 9:20. But thanks for listening to this segment here on Activated Mornings.